Think you know your guitar legends? Forget the usual names. These 10 players rewrote the rules, blew minds, and still fly under the radar. Let's count down the unsung guitar gods. You ever hear someone play like their soul's on fire? That was Glenn Schwartz. Before Joe Walsh took the reins, Glenn was the original guitarist for the James Gang. Then he joined Pacific Gas and Electric. Check out their 1970 hit, Are You Ready? The man's solo sounds like it's crawling out of a swamp revival. Later in life, he turned gospel blues preacher and played clubs like they were churches. His tone? Dirty, raw, unapologetic. The guy didn't chase fame, he chased truth. Schwartz didn't just play guitar, he testified through it. April Lawton should have been a household name. In the early 70s, she led the band Ramatom, shredding right alongside the big boys. Hell, Mitch Mitchell from Hendrix's band was her drummer. Her playing was fierce, full of fire, blending blues, jazz, and psych rock into something totally her own. Tracks like Ask Brother Ask show off her biting tone and fearless solos. She broke barriers in a time when the guitar world was a boys' club. Sadly, the industry didn't know what to do with a female lead guitar hero. But listen close. April wasn't following anyone. She was leading. Here we have a player who never chased the spotlight, but man, he lit up every stage he touched. Dominic Troiano had this way of making a guitar sing. Born in Canada, he stepped into two legendary bands, the James Gang and the Guess Who. But it's his solo work where the magic really shows. Tracks like Try from 1973 are just drenched in soul. He blended funk, jazz, and rock so effortlessly, it felt like second nature. No gimmicks, no overplaying. Just feel. Whether he was laying down a smooth groove or letting a lead line cry, you knew it was him. Always tasteful, always in control. Now, before we move on to Vinnie Riley, if you like what you see, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Thanks. Alright, let's switch gears for a moment. This one's really special. Vinnie Riley didn't play guitar like anyone else because he didn't think like anyone else. With his band, the Durruti Column, he made music that felt like whispers in an empty room. Beautiful, moody, and full of space. He was part of the post-punk scene in Manchester, but his sound was more ambient jazz than angry rock. Every note felt personal, like a letter you weren't supposed to read. Sketch for Summer is pure musical therapy. No ego, just emotion. He's the kind of player that makes you stop what you're doing and just listen. Now this guy, he made his guitar sound like it came from the future. Bill Nelson led Bebop Deluxe, a band that never quite fit into one box. Too glam for prog, too clever for pop, and way too good to ignore. His playing on Ships in the Night is pure class. Smooth, melodic, and just a little bit weird in the best way. Bill was a tone architect. He used effects and harmonies like a painter uses color. Even when he went solo, his creativity only got wilder. You don't just listen to Bill, you experience him. And once you do, you wonder how he slipped past everyone else's radar. Okay, now we're diving into serious shred territory. Frank Kimbali is the guy who took sweep picking and turned it into pure art. He came up in the jazz fusion scene, Blowing Minds is part of Chick Corea's electric band in the mid-80s. But Frank wasn't just about speed. His phrasing, his feel, his fluidity, it was like hearing a saxophone played through a Marshall stack. Check out the chant, and you'll hear what I mean. It's complex, but it grooves. It moves. Kimbali made technique emotional, and that's a rare thing. He didn't just change how people played guitar, he changed how they taught it. Let's cool it down just a bit with a master feel. Robben Ford is that rare guitarist who can say more with one note than most can with 50. He's jammed with Miles Davis, George Harrison, and Joni Mitchell. And every time he plugs in, the guitar just breathes. His tone? Smooth like honey, but it'll still knock you off your feet. Check out Talk to Your Daughter. That's blues with brains and soul. Robben's all about taste. He doesn't waste a second. Every bend, every phrase means something. And when he locks into a groove, you just sit back and melt. Here's one that's, all heart. Phil Keaggy is a guitarist's guitarist. He's been blowing minds since the early 70s with his insane fingerpicking, his looping genius, and his crystal clear tone. And yes, the legend says Hendrix called him one of the best. Whether that's true or not, just listen to The Wind and the Wheat. It's spiritual. It's cinematic. It's the kind of playing that gives you goosebumps. Keaggy never chased rockstar fame. He carved his own lane in Christian music and instrumental circles. But make no mistake, he can go toe-to-toe with anyone. Every live solo feels like a conversation with your soul. Get ready to get weird in the best way possible. Adrian Belew is a sonic mad scientist. He took the guitar and said, what else can this thing do? Played with Zappa, David Bowie, Talking Heads, and became the frontman of King Crimson. But it's not just who he played with, it's how. He made guitars bark, squawk, chirp, scream, and still made it sound beautiful. On Elephant Talk, he turns noise into rhythm. On Lone Rhinoceros Hudlin, he tells a story without saying a word. Adrian expanded the language of rock guitar. He didn't bend the rules, he rewrote them. And here we are, the top of the mountain. Jeff Healey didn't just play guitar, he owned it. Blind since childhood, playing the thing flat across his lap, like it was part of him. His playing on See the Light is pure fire. Blues, rock, and raw emotion pouring out of every note. You might have seen him in Roadhouse, but that was just a glimpse. Healy's phrasing was soulful, his tone was searing, and his solos, unforgettable. He wasn't flashy, he was real. The kind of player that makes you stop talking and just feel. A true original. A true great. Gone too soon, but never forgotten. You just met 10 guitarists who changed the game. Roll the clips, crank the volume, and let their legacy speak loud and clear. These legends deserve to be heard again and again.